Well, I'm standing around town, I'm a wasting my time. I'm out of a job and I ain't got a dime. When this old boy steps up and he says, I suppose that you're a bronc twister by the rig of your clothes. He guesses me right, that's my middle name. Have you got any bad ones you're aiming to tame? 'Cause a horse never lived nor never drew breath that I couldn't ride till he starved plumb to death. Well, he says I got one, she's a bad one to buck. At a losing good riders, he's had lots of luck. So I gets all excited and I says, what do you pay if I ride that old horse for a couple of days? He says, I'll pay 10, and I says, I'm your man, 'cause there ain't a bronc in this world I can't fan. He says, get your outfit, I'll give you a chance. We steps in the buckboard and bills to the ranch. And it's early next morning and right after Chuck. I'm hankering to see how this bad horse can buck. It's out in the horse corral standing alone. Was a little old horse just a strawberry roan. Well, he's ewe-necked and old with a long lower jaw. You could tell at one glance he's a real outlaw. He had little pin ears that touch at the tip, and a big lazy D stamped on his right hip. I puts on my hooks and I picks up my twine. I stick on my hat and I'm sure feeling fine. I throw a loop on him, and it's well I know then that before I get aboard him I'll sure earn my 10. Well, next comes the blinds, and they sure was a fight. On goes my saddle and I screws her down tight. Then I steps aboard him and I pulls off the blinds, and I takes a deep seat just to watch him unwind. He goes up in the east, he come down in the west. To stay in his middle I'm doing my best. He sure is frog walking, he heaves a big sigh. He only lacks wings for to be on the fly. I figure I'm riding the hurricane deck of a cyclone and tornado having a wreck. He's the worst bucker I've seen on the range. He'll land on a nickel and give you the change. His backbone's like a mountain, his legs stiff as poles. When he hits the ground, boys, he leaves 10-foot holes. Hits right on the top of each stiff-legged buck that he sucks himself back, and you're riding on luck. Well, he downs his old head right betwixt his hind feet. He kicks up his heels and he turns on the heat. He flips his old belly right up to the sun. He sure is a sun-fishing son of a gun. He burns his old tail right up against the old sun. He says, hang on, cowboy, I'll show you some fun. Well, he makes a big jump and he spins at the top. I asks him politely, oh, horse, won't you stop? He shoots right straight up and he don't turn around, like he's done give up life way down there on the ground. He heads for the North Pole and he ends at the South. He's swapping ends fast and his tail's in his mouth. My reins is all broke and the bit's hanging loose. My saddle is slipping back on his caboose. Then he turns inside out and he swallows his hide. And that was the end, boys, of my $10 ride. He left me up higher than the birds in the sky. But it's down on the ground, boys, that I want to die. Well, first I goes north and then I goes west, just hunting a place where I can show rest. Well, I turns over twice and I comes back to earth, and I sets there a cussin' the day of his birth. And I says there's some horses that I cannot ride. There's some of them living, boys, they haven't